have arrived in Rome. I mean, you are in Rome. Wow. So what do? You take the Leonardo Express. You don't take any buses or shuttles or taxis or whatever. Those are for losers. You take
Leonardo Express.
Gets you there under an hour, no stops, from the airport to the terminus station. And I assume you have a hotel booked somewhere in the area around the terminus station. Why? Because it's the best. I mean, it's the best there. Easy access to any point and any point worth speaking about in Rome. Okay, don't get a hotel anywhere else. Now, you're rested, you have a cup of coffee, take the metro. The Barberini station, 2 stops away.
2 stops.
Where do you get off?
Barberini.
And then you just follow the yellow brick road. And the first thing you gotta see in Rome is the fountain. You take the yellow brick road, is like a maze of little medieval streets rebuilt, renovated in the 19th century. So follow them all the way to the fountain. It's like 2 minutes away from the metro station. And you take a look at the fountain. It may not, if it's too early in the morning, it may not even be working yet because they're doing maintenance in the morning. So just look at it. It was completed in the 18th century, despite the rumors that it's all Bernini's creation. He had a hand in it, but the fountain was completed almost 100 years after his death. They tweaked it for centuries until it finally, took its present form.
It's pretty.
A nice plaza too.
The piazzas in Rome are tiny.
Compared to Paris or New York, they're tiny. So even a grand thing such as the fountain, the Trevi Fountain, is in the middle of there's barely a square. So you continue following the yellow brick road and you end up at Piazza Venezia. You'll keep running into it all the time. It's a beautiful plaza. We will come back to it later, okay? Now you continue on the yellow brick road, you end up in this square. There's a nice little theater there, rumored to be like an old opera theater. There are some ruins in the middle of the square. Julius Caesar was killed here, and there are some cats, stray cats, living underneath, and they're being fed by whoever. So you take all that in, you continue on down this little avenue, and on your left, 2 blocks down, you will see this church. It's St. Andrew's. This is where the first act of Giacomo Puccini's Tosca takes place. If you've never heard of Tosca, you've never seen a performance of it, maybe you should. Okay, so this is the church in which Mario Cavaradossi, the lead character, paints the portrait of Madonna. And this is the door on which Tosca is pounding, going, Mario, Mario, are you in there with another woman? What's the matter with you? Am I not good enough for you? And that's where the revolutionary guy hides, and that's where eventually Scarpe will arrive to try and threaten everybody and arrest everybody and seduce Tosca and so forth, right? Act 1, this is the place. Now that you got that over with, you make a beeline for Trastevere.
Trastevere.
Huh?
Trastevere.
That's right. Trastevere. It literally means over the Tiber. Over the Tiber. Trastevere. It's a huge bohemian neighborhood, which you will enjoy day and night, and you'll keep coming back. Throughout your sojourn in Rome, you'll keep coming back to Trastevere. The people are nice, the streets are medieval, truly medieval. Narrow, quaint, and the restaurants are cool too, and the cafes and the bars. Great neighborhood, Trastevere. Okay, so you make a beeline as much as possible in Rome to make a beeline for anything, because the maze of the streets is like amazing. Nothing you've ever seen. You just follow the yellow brick road to that bridge. Okay, it goes over this tiny island. This island called, very originally, very imaginatively, the Tiber Island. It had a bad reputation in the beginning because rumor has it that when they killed the last king of Rome, Tarquinius the Proud, they dumped the body into the river. And then it sprouted these corals and landfill and whatever, and this island just appeared. And it was haunted by these terrible, terrible spirits and stuff. Until after the Christianization of the empire, sometime around the 5th century, it occurred to somebody to build a church on that island, okay? And from that point on, it's all good, okay? People started settling on that island. So you cross over very nice, excellent sites. Okay, you cross over to Trastevere, okay? And have your first fill of Trastevere. Don't linger too long, okay? Because you got some work to do. If you think you don't have any work to do, you're a loser, okay? So you end up at this square, piazza, whatever. It's the main piazza. That's the St. Mary Church, by the way, dates back to 5th or 6th century. It's Romanesque. It's not even Gothic yet. It's Romanesque. There are nice cafes around. Beautiful square with a fountain, and you take that and briefly take all that in and continue on. Go uphill. As you climb, you might say nasty things about me because I sent you there. You'll thank me later, okay? And so will your wife or girlfriend or your husband or whatever your situation happens to be. You climb up that hill. It's really worth it. You keep climbing and climbing, and on the way, don't take a taxi. You will pass that fountain and that arch. There's a nice gated place, huge cast iron gate, and it's guarded by this Italian soldier with a smirk. Okay, this is... Ready?
This is the American Academy in Rome, which is a research and arts institution. The Academy serves as a home to visiting US scholars and artists, having been awarded the Rome Prize. This is where they get grants and stuff. The chances of you getting a grant here are pretty slim, so you just continue on towards Piazzale Garibaldi.
Don't miss the entrance. It's quaint. It looks like, to an American eye, it looks like someone else's property, no trespassing, that kind of thing. Don't miss it, okay? If you try to go around it, you'll end up in the middle of nowhere and you'll have to come back all the way, okay? So enter through the gate and march straight on.
Head towards the Piazzale Garibaldi. Giuseppe Garibaldi is a warrior who worked towards the unification of Italy. He is revered by some of the locals.
Take in the sights. Notice that right over there is Piazza Venezia. Okay, then walk across the square and take in this side. It's St. Peter's. It looks deceptively close. Now that we've gotten this out of the way, we can climb back down to Trastevere, maybe have a cup of coffee. And from Trastevere you cross back over the Tiber, over this bridge, called Sisto Bridge. And again follow the yellow brick road all the way to this beautiful place. It was built by Hadrian,
Sì.
the emperor.
Adriano.
Do you want to say something?
I'm gorgeous.
Okay. Hadrian is one of the 5 good emperors. He really stands out among leaders, politicians, rulers, that most of the politicians out there, they have no skills. Hadrian was a professional architect and construction engineer. There is a legend associated with this building, which is called the Pantheon, by the way.
The old Pantheon was damaged, and Hadrian decided to build a new one. The structure was going to include a dome, especially designed by Hadrian. He was very fond of domes.
And the chief architect of Rome, he looked at the designs and he said, "Now, are you kidding me? This shit is gonna fall down. It's gonna cave in as soon as you remove the formwork."
Now, formwork is the skeleton, which back in those days would have been made of wood. And then you dress it up in concrete, and then you remove the wood.
To which Hadrian said, "Oh yeah? Let me make you a deal. I'll go in and stand directly under the dome. They will remove the formwork and the scaffolding, and I'll stand there for 3 hours. And if it doesn't cave in and kill me, I will have your head." To which the architect said, "You know what? You know what? Fine." And he left for his villa in a huff. And Hadrian, true to his word, he stood under the dome for 3 hours. Nothing happened. The dome is still there. 2,000 years later, he wrote this missive pardoning the architect and sent a courier to the villa. But by the time the courier arrived at the villa, the architect was already dead from a heart attack.
To this day, it remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome.
Okay, so because this is in fact your first day in Rome, you in Rome, you still haven't built up your strength. You might be exhausted by now, physically, morally, spiritually. So what I suggest you might want to do is take a quick look at Piazza Navona next door. Just a little glimpse.
Solo un piccolo assaggio.
Shut up.
Va bene.
Okay, and then continue on over the bridge to St. Angelo's Castle, on whose roof the third act of Tosca takes place. We'll get back to that later. And then continue on real quick to St. Peter's Plaza. And then from there take a right and just make a beeline for the metro station, Ottaviano. Take the metro back to the hotel.
This is Ricky Vernio reporting from Rome.